Reporting, by the way, to our viewers at home, if you're just joining us, one person injured, a gunman on the loose at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. That is according to the U.S. Navy. An active shooter reported inside the Naval Sea Systems Command headquarters, as Martha mentioned, Building 197 at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time, which would have been 55 minutes ago. Again, one confirmed injury, but the way Peter's describing this is there's a possibility there could be a lot more than just one injured based on the number of ambulances that are being called in. Emergency personnel on the scene. A shelter-in-place order has been issued. At any given point, this area could house about 3,000 people working at the Naval Sea Systems Command headquarters. Jennifer Griffin is with us as well, our correspondent from the Pentagon. And Jennifer Griffin has been in this area. And Jennifer, can you hear me now?
Yes, hi, Bill. We've been on the phone with Navy officials this morning, and we can confirm the details of what you were just mentioning. Of course, 3 shots fired at 8:20 a.m. this morning. What's significant about this building, this is the Naval Sea Systems Command. Remember what is going on out in the eastern Mediterranean right now. We have 4 U.S. Navy destroyers who've been on standby for the last few weeks in the event that they are called to act in the Syria crisis. They are poised with Tomahawk missiles on board. This Naval Sea Systems Command would be part of the operations center and the backup. This is where the naval operations, this is really the heart of it. And it's you've got the Pentagon and you've got the Navy Yard very much involved in what was going to be a Navy operation, principally in Syria. So while we don't know anything about the shooter, we do know from Navy officials that it's an active, it's being treated as an active shooting. Shooter still on the loose, and with at least one person injured. They're taking this very seriously, and Washington, D.C.'s traffic police are urging people to stay away from the Navy Yard this morning.
That's good information. Jennifer, thank you. We'll try and reestablish a better phone line, too, and come back to you in just a couple of minutes. Also back to Peter Doocy in a second. Martha with more.
We are getting a report that 2 victims can now be confirmed. This, according to the information officer, Chris Kelly, from the police department in Maryland. It says they cannot give information on their status. The 11th Street Bridge has been turned into a triage center, which is obviously nearby this scene where this shooting is taking place this morning. KT McFarland joins us this morning as well. She has a very deep knowledge of the U.S. Navy and obviously of all of our defense layout in this area. KT, your thoughts on what we're seeing here this morning?
The Washington Navy Yard is the beating heart of the United States Navy. Now, why do I say that? The Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Greenert, his official home is there. In other words, his wife and family, their residence is on the Washington Navy Yard. It's, as you've been talking about, it's the oldest Navy Yard in the country. But more importantly, almost, is what Jennifer Griffin just mentioned. This is where the Navy plans where its ships go. It's not at the Pentagon. It's here at the Washington Navy Yard. It's the Fleet Command. It is where the 3-star admiral who is in charge of all Navy ships, whether they're on the East Coast, the West Coast, anywhere around the world, this is where they are deployed from. So this may have other significance. It's too soon to say why or what's going on. But the fact that it is the United States Navy under attack in an area, well, while we are abroad in areas that are vital to American national security interests, not only in the Pacific, but particularly in the eastern Mediterranean. Is there a tie-in? I don't know. Yeah. But I'll tell you, Martha, you don't just walk up to one of these gates as a tourist, show your driver's license and say, I'd like to have a look around this historic place. You've got to be on a list. You've either got to be an employee there, you've got to be on an access list, or you have to have an appointment with someone who is an employee there. And then you have to be escorted the entire time you're there. So this is not anything random.
Yeah. KT, thank you. Stand by with us this morning. And we're just confirming that there have been 2 victims. As we can report, I mean, you'll just look at the rescue scene that's on site here, the number of fire engines that have been brought into this area. You can see that traffic is at a complete standstill. They have tried to close as many areas as they can. We know that the 11th Street Bridge has been turned into a triage center. At this moment, it's important to stress that we can only confirm 2 victims in this situation. So we don't know how much larger this may be at this point. That's all we can confirm. The active shooter is someone who is still being actively sought on this scene. You heard Peter Doocy moments ago saying that at that point, police were basically running in different directions on this property because it would appear that they did not know where this person is. Building 197 appears to be the central hub of the activity that we're focusing on this morning. But there again, it's a large campus, a large facility, and we don't know exactly, where obviously where this person is.
Based on the fact that 3,000 people work there, you can imagine, and on KT's description and Jennifer prior to her, how big of an area this could be here. An active shooter, an active scene that we're pursuing, not only with our correspondents, but also through the public affairs director for the U.S. Navy, who will join us momentarily. Peter Doocy was with us a moment ago, too. Peter, we have not spoken in, I'd say, 4 to 5 minutes. What have you seen since that time?
Well, Bill, just after I got off the phone with you guys a few moments ago, I positioned myself at the corner of 7th and M. It's as close as civilians can get right now. And I heard a very frantic call go out over a DC Metro police officer's radio. The call was for an officer down. Shots fired on the 3rd floor of that building, and the call was for an officer down on the 3rd floor. We have no report on his condition, but as soon as that call went out, more police tape went up, and just as soon as within a minute of hearing that call go out over the Metro Police radio for an officer down on the 3rd floor, we saw 2 helicopters come, and they are flying about as low as you can go without crashing into one of these buildings that, in this area, the buildings are only 3 and 4 stories tall. We've got a helicopter coming in right now. And, Bill, it's probably only about 150 feet off the ground, circling. It's hard to say what exactly they are doing. They're circling a little bit away from where that barricaded scene is. They're away from Building 197. But, again, the call, the very frantic, urgent call, was an officer yelling into his radio to all the other officers that there is NPD, DC Metro Police officer down on the 3rd floor, and someone responded and said there is a Navy doctor in the lobby, but again, we don't know where the suspect is, if that doctor has access to that officer who, according to the police radio here on the scene, is down.
Peter, we're still hearing sirens in the background. Are there more ambulances still being dispatched to where you are?
I haven't seen any more ambulances, Bill, but the addition of helicopters really adds to the chaos here because, again, I told you, they are flying really low. And I can't tell which agency they are with, but they are flying low. It would appear that they are looking for something. I'm looking at one right now. There's a construction scene with cranes just across the street, and the helicopter is flying below the top of the crane, just to give you a sense of how low these helicopters are flying. There is a crane across the street. The helicopter is flying well below the top of that crane. And we mentioned earlier there's a parking lot right across the street, a big parking lot. That is where the helicopter is right now. It is a U.S. Park Police helicopter, blue and white, and it is just circling around, I would say, an area only a few blocks wide, but it is a concentrated area.
Peter, there was a report that there was a gunman on the 4th floor. We cannot confirm that. And then we just heard a report about an officer shot on the 3rd floor. Would you say that building is 4 stories tall or higher?
I'm looking right now, Bill. It's hard to tell. And it's hard to tell from where I'm standing because it looks like the lower floors are kind of obscured by another building. But this is not something like in another big city where you would have a big. Where am I going? Okay, all right. So they're moving me back from M Street to L Street, Bill.
Okay.
But as far as I can tell, it's not a big skyscraper. It's a building. It's only a few stories tall, and
Understood.
3,000 or so people work there. They're all sheltering in place.
Okay, take a moment to get repositioned, Peter. We'll bring you back here in a matter of minutes here. Washington Post reporting that the police are telling the newspaper at least 3, possibly 4, shot inside the Navy Yard in that shooting. 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time. shots reported. That would have been a little more than an hour ago, and now we're waiting to see whether or not this situation has been resolved or not.
Anybody who's hunkered down in that building, any shooter that might be in that building, is got to be sensing the tremendous presence of the effort to find him. There are choppers overhead, as we just showed you, and a huge police presence, and all of these streets have been blocked off in this area to make sure that nobody who has done this can get away. And as Bill just mentioned, Washington Post now reporting 3 to possibly 4 victims involved in this. I want to bring in Ed Ziegler, who is on the phone with us. He is Director of Public Affairs for the Navy Yard. Obviously, Ed, a very frightening and tense morning for all of you.
Yes, it has been.
Tell me a little bit about what you know, sir.
Well, this morning we received reports of a shots fired in Building 197, as you reported. The Navy District Washington Police and the D.C. Metro Police responded. As you know, this is an ongoing, developing situation, so just be careful with any reports that you get because, a lot of this can change as time goes on. So.
Understood. Understood. Tell me about Building 197. Who works in that building?
Building 197 is the home of the Naval Sea Systems Command. I heard you talking about the height of the building. It's about 4 stories high.
Okay.
There's about 3,000 folks that work there.
What time would most people be arriving at work in that building on a normal day?
Typically between 6 and 9 o'clock.
Okay, and we believe that this started about an hour ago, about 8:20 in the morning, or 8:02, somewhere in that area.
Right.
In terms of the number of people injured, can you confirm at least what you know right now?
I can confirm that there have been multiple reports of wounded individuals and multiple fatalities. However, like I said, the situation is developing, and it's hard to really nail down what the numbers are at this point.
So you can confirm that there have been multiple injuries and multiple fatalities. You feel confident in that at this point?
Yes, ma'am.
What about the shooter? Any indication of whether or not the shooter is still on the loose? It appears from the action that we're seeing outside the building that that's the case.
Yeah, I have no reports that the shooter has been apprehended, so this is an ongoing situation.
Any reports of the shooter, what this person looks like, whether or not they're in uniform, any reports from people inside the building on cell phones, anything of that nature?
We just have a few preliminary reports, nothing that I want to release on that right now.
All right. Ed, thank you very much. Obviously, this is a tough morning for all of you, and we're hearing from so many viewers and people who are watching this. Our hearts go out to everybody who is involved in working at this Navy Yard. Ed, stay with us for just a moment.
Yeah, I didn't hear your last answer, Ed. We were told 30 minutes ago that they were looking for a man. Can you go that far?
I believe the initial description was for a male. Yes.
And that's everything you know? White, black, Hispanic? Was he a member of the U.S. Navy or not?
I don't have any information on that right now.
Okay. All right, Ed, thank you. We'll be in touch with you in your office
in
the next couple of minutes. Chuck Nash is with us as well. Sir, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, Bill.
You have been in this area, the Washington Navy Yard. KT McFarland, Jennifer Griffin were giving us terrific descriptions for what they would be doing there and a little bit of the history. Give us your view of it.
First off, that building has a very long history there at the Navy Yard. It is the Naval Sea Systems Command headquarters, and they don't run operations out of there. Operations are run out of fleet headquarters and numbered fleet headquarters when you get over, for example, 6th Fleet in the Mediterranean, 5th Fleet in the Gulf area. So the Naval Sea Systems Command, what their job is to develop and procure the weapons and